For children of alcoholics, survival is so normal. We often spend our whole lives in a constant state of nervous system dysregulation, completely unaware of the impact that it's having on our health, our career, our families, and our relationships. If you're constantly overwhelmed, easily triggered, or find yourself shutting down when things just feel way too much, this video is for you. I'm Corey. I'm a trauma-informed mind-body practitioner, and I work with adult children of alcoholics to help them come out of survival and into safety. Today we're talking through why you are in survival, what to do if you're living in fight or flight, how to come out of freeze mode, and most importantly, how to feel and release the pain that is stuck in the body. If you grew up around chaos, addiction, emotional neglect, it's most likely you have lived your whole life in survival. But healing really starts when we start listening to what our body is trying to tell us. So let's start with the nervous system and understanding what is the survival response. What is this state of survival that you keep hearing people talk about and that you instinctively know that you're living in, but you just don't know much about it? When you're in danger or when your body remembers danger, your nervous system reacts. And this isn't about logic. This is about survival. This is a survival response that happens automatically from your body. And you might not actually be in physical danger in the moment, but if your body or your mind perceives that you are in danger, so if your body and mind thinks that your alcoholic parent is dangerous, is a threat to your safety or the safety of those around you, your nervous system will respond accordingly. And when this survival response kicks in, your nervous system reacts in 3 different ways. The first one being fight. And from this state, you are basically getting ready to fight. Your body gets tense. You're getting ready to go on the attack. Maybe you find that you lash out, whether that's verbally or physically. You get irritable, you get snappy, you get overwhelmed. This is your body's way of saying, I need to defend myself from this threat. The next is flight. This is the one you want to escape from. And in this state, you might find that you're avoiding people. You're obsessively working. You're doom scrolling to avoid what is going on around you or inside of you. Or you find yourself with this uncontrollable need to constantly being busy. This is your body's response saying, I need to run, I need to run, I need to escape, I need to avoid the threat that is in my life. And in both of these responses, you might find there is some sort of physical aspects that are happening within you. So your heart might start to race, your hands might shake or get really sweaty. You might get a bit of upset in your stomach, so feel like you need to go to the bathroom. And your senses might start to feel overwhelmed, so you might find that you're heightened to light or noise or to touch. So just to recap, the first 2 survival responses that are going to kick in when your nervous system gets dysregulated, when your body and mind feel like survival is the only option, the first 2 is going to be fight and flight. Now, if your body and mind realize that you can't fight off the threat or you can't run away, in most cases for children of alcoholics, this is the case. We live in a home, we live in an environment with an alcoholic, with an addict, with someone who's most likely struggling with mental health problems, who's most likely struggling with a lot of other different problems as well as the addiction. And we can't fight our parent. In that situation, we're children, we're young adults, we're not going to fight our parent. And we can't flight, we can't run away. So we have to stay in that environment. And what happens when you stay in an environment and you're constantly met with a threat that activates your fight and flight response? The only option the body has is to go down to the next state, which is the freeze state. And freeze happens because you can't fight and you can't flight. And in this state, you'll find that you will shut down. You'll go numb. You'll disassociate. Your body and mind are saying, this is not safe. This environment is not safe for me to be in. I need to disappear. And from this place, a lot of people present depressive symptoms. It's different to clinical depression, but I have met so many people who say, I just feel so depressed. I feel so heavy. I feel so numb. But I've gone to the doctor, I've been on antidepressants and they haven't done anything. Well, The second option could be that if you are not clinically depressed, you may be stuck in freeze. Because freeze presents very much like depression. Your body feels physically heavy. It feels physically limp. You feel like you have no energy to get out of bed. You feel completely disconnected. Your mind feels numb and fuzzy and foggy. And you kind of feel like your brain has gone offline a little bit. And if you grew up in a home with a lot of shouting, a lot of aggression, a lot of chaos, a lot of unpredictability, which the majority of us as children of alcoholics did or have or still are, these states become your baseline. So this is what, when I talk about adult children of alcoholics living in a state of survival and helping them come out of that, this is what I'm helping you come out of, okay? Fight, flight, and freeze. And the reason why it's so important for children of alcoholics to recognize that, one, they're stuck in either of these states, or they find that they go through multiple of these states, which you can fluctuate between them. If you find that you are living from that state of survival, you have to understand the impact that that's having in your life, because people are living from a state of survival, feeling like that's them, like that's who they are as a person, like the way it makes them act and behave and think and show up in the world. That can make an individual, like it has made me in the past, believe that I am that type of person. But if you take away this survival response and remove that from your life, that's not who you are. Who you are is actually underneath the survival response. And that is why it is so important that children of alcoholics do this work and firstly understand that you will be in survival. I have not met a child of an alcoholic yet who has not at some stage lived in a state of survival because of the impact that environment has on our nervous system. It's just a natural occurrence, a natural reaction. It's not something we have control over. So you have to remember, if you're showing up in the world from a state of fight or flight or freeze, that's not who you truly, deeply are as a person. And this is why I'm really passionate about this topic and this work, because I see so many people, including myself, so many of my clients thinking that this is who they are, when truly, when we strip away all that, when we get underneath the survival response, we start to see the true person come back. And it's amazing, because people then start living a life true to them, then start showing up in the world as they truly are, not driven by a state of survival. So let's talk about what can you do, firstly, when your system is stuck in fight or flight. We're going to concentrate on that one first, because the response and the exercises and the activities that you need to do to come out of these survival responses are actually very different. You need to approach them with a different approach, because this state is different. How you feel is different. How you act, how you show up is different. So let's first concentrate, as I said, on fight or flight. And from this state, everything can feel too loud, too much, too overstimulating. Personally, when I'm stuck in this response, I know, because all of a sudden the TV gets too loud, even if it might not be. I don't like being touched. If my husband is trying to like hug me or be affectionate, I'm like, oh God, no. Like, I'm super overstimulated. Or I feel like the lights are too bright in the house and I have to turn everything down. That's a big telltale sign for me that I am moving into that state of fight or flight. And for so many of us, this state is our normal. But living in that long term is not sustainable. This is where chronic illness, burnout, and fatigue all start. And why? This is because when we are in this state, the stress hormone cortisol pumps through our body. When we have cortisol pumping through our body in a constant state over a long period of time, this is when illness starts, because the body can't deal with that much stress hormone over a long period of time. Short bouts of stress over short periods of time are healthy, normal, and we need them. They're a daily part of life. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the long term, the years of constantly living in that fight or flight response, constantly having cortisol pumping through your body. this is when illness is developed in the mind and the body. When I know I'm in fight or flight, let me backtrack a little bit. I implement nervous system regulation techniques into my life as part of a practice, as part of a daily practice, because I know I am someone who has lived in this state the majority of my life. I know I am someone who gets very easily put into that state. So I know nervous system regulation has to be part of my daily routine, and I have made it like that. So although you can do the techniques that I'm about to give you as quick fixes as such, they are best implemented as part of a routine, as part of a practice, because unfortunately, to come out of fight or flight, to decrease the cortisol in your body, to come out of survival, it takes time. It's not that you'll do this breathing technique that I'm going to give you, and then the next day you'll be balanced and regulated again. You're not going to be. It's just not possible. So it has to be consistent. It has to be over a long period of time, and it has to be a practice that you show up and dedicate yourself to. And if you're serious about coming out of survival, if you're serious about not living in that state for the rest of your life, you will implement it as a practice in whatever way that looks for you. So some of the things that I have implemented into my own life and that I suggest for my clients to do is the 4-7-8 breathing technique. I love this technique because instantly when you do it, you can feel an automatic calm in your body. So breathing in for 4, holding for 7, and exhaling for 8. It can be difficult to do this if you've never done any breathing exercises before, any breathing techniques. There's lots of videos on YouTube. I'll link one actually in the description of this video. Lots of videos on YouTube on how to do this technique properly. So please watch them because don't have the time to go through it with you now. So please watch one of the videos that I will link. But the biggest thing is when you inhale, that speeds up your heart rate. When you exhale, that slows down your heart rate. What we want to do to come out of fight or flight is slow down the heart rate. And that is why doing this breathing technique for a couple of minutes or a couple of rounds, you will notice an instant decrease in how stressed and how overwhelmed and how dysregulated you are feeling. So what I would say is do it a couple of times a week. Try it now. Try it after watching this video and see if you can just notice the instant decrease in your stress levels. So the next one is movement. And this is why I became a mind body practitioner, because to calm our anxiety, to help our depression, to manage the overwhelming thoughts, to manage the low mood, the body needs to move, and the body needs to process what it hasn't got the chance to process. And what I mean by that is when you go into fight or flight, your body is automatically programmed to run or fight away. So it's getting that burst of energy. It's getting blood pumping through. All these different stress hormones are pumping through the body to help keep you safe. That is just a natural survival response that's been in us for centuries and since the age of time. Okay. But when we don't do anything with that energy and we let that pent up over time, it can really make us feel super overwhelmed and super agitated. So doing some movement, allowing the body to move, will help you regulate your nervous system and help you process that fight or flight response. So what you can do is just stand and shake your hands and shake your arms, stomp your feet, or shake out your legs, shake out your full body. It's going to be a weird example. Have you ever seen a dog that maybe they've been in a dog fight and then they just start shaking after? That's because they're letting the fight or flight response, because they have a nervous system as well, they're letting that complete. They're letting that do what it needs to do. Us as humans, we need to do the same thing. So shake out the body, shake out the arms, shake out the legs, dance. I know you might feel like an idiot, but dance around your kitchen, dance in your bedroom, dance around the house. I don't really care. Go to a nightclub, go to wherever you want to go to a dance class. Dancing will allow you to not only release that static energy, not only process the fight or flight response, but also connect to your body, connect the mind and the body. Because when you're dancing, you're not living from up here. You're actually connecting in and tuning into your body. Another one I love, and this might be a bit extreme, but if you are feeling really heightened and if you've gotten maybe into a really big argument with your partner, or you're just feeling super overwhelmed, or something really bad has happened with your alcoholic parent and you are just feeling like you are about to, kill someone, punch your pillow, scream into your pillow, release all of that, again, energy into something in a safe way, okay? And punching a pillow and screaming into a pillow is a very safe way because you're not harming anyone else, but you're allowing yourself to release that energy. Walk fast. So get out of the house. If you're finding yourself, you're super dysregulated, you're stuck in fight or flight, get out of the house, walk, move your arms, get into your heart rate going, like just get moving the body in a quick way, which is going to allow your body to regulate itself. And my last one for helping you come out of fight or flight, and a lot of people have a resistance against this one, is cold exposure. Cold showers have been a game changer for me when it comes to regulating my nervous system. The reason being, when we get into the cold, it shocks the body and automatically activates the nervous system, activates the fight or flight response. But when you know how to breathe properly, when you get in there and you start using your breath with low and like long and slow inhale and exhale, it brings your nervous system back to rest and digest. And over time, it helps you train your nervous system to become regulated. So again, not a quick fix, but a practice to be implemented over time that does actually work. So you can start off with get into the shower when it's warm and just for the last even 10 seconds turn it to cold and gradually increase that over time. Or start with splashing cold water on your face and your neck and maybe on your wrists, because your vagus nerve will run down kind of from your behind your ear area, down your jawline and down your neck. If you can splash cold water in that area, it will help activate the vagus nerve, which is your body's internal calm button. Next up is freeze. And freeze can feel like the hardest state to move through or come out of. You feel stuck, you feel tired, and you just feel like you don't really care anymore. And from that state, it's nearly easier to do things from a state of like hyper arousal and a state of like feeling super overwhelmed and agitated, because you kind of feel like you've got this nervous energy pumping through your body. But when you're in freeze, you don't feel like that. You feel a lot more stuck, a lot more low, a lot more, I just really couldn't be bothered. And everyone knows it's harder to actually do things from that state. And this is why it does have to be approached differently than fight or flight, because force does not work from this state. You actually need to approach it from a very gentle place. So the first one, honestly, for dealing with freeze is just having a gentle awareness with yourself that that's what's happening to you. Because a lot of people, when they're stuck in this state, they feel really confused. I've had so many clients come to me saying like, I just don't know what is wrong with me. I'm just not able to do anything. And they get really frustrated. They feel really ashamed. They feel a lot of guilt around it. And just gently recognizing and acknowledging that, you know what, I'm stuck in freeze and I'm stuck in freeze for a reason and it's not my fault and that's okay. And this is what is happening to me and I can accept that. Even that alone starts to help the body thaw out and actually become unstuck. Now, movement again is another one for freeze, but it's gentle movement, okay? So everything from this state needs to be gentle, it needs to be soft, it needs to be layered with compassion, okay? Which can be very hard for children of alcoholics. We very rarely have compassion for ourselves. Compassion for everyone else, but yeah, not ourselves. So think of movement, think of it as gentle movement. Think it of wiggling your fingers, some gentle self-massage, hands on the chest, which I'm not going to do now because I've got the mic there. Closing your eyes, just slow, gentle inhales and exhales. You know, wrapping your arms around yourself and just doing some gentle rocking and gentle swaying side to side. A lot of people get really frustrated with this work when it comes to coming out of freeze because it is slow, it is gentle, it's soft. You don't really see anything happening straight away. It takes time for all of this to compound, and that's why people usually don't stick with it. But these micro movements, they actually help to wake up your nervous system. They help to gently kick it in to activation without forcing it into activation like a cold shower would, which can nearly re-traumatize you if you're someone who's gone through a lot of heavy trauma and are really, really stuck in that frozen state. I would suggest cold showers to some people who are stuck in freeze, but again, it's not a prescribed one size fits all to everyone. That's a very much a tailored approach depending on how much work we've done together and stuff. So yeah, it's very much not hitting the nervous system like with a bang and getting everything going super fast. As I said, it's slow, it's gentle, and it has to be filled with compassion. One thing you could do is if you're finding you're stuck in freeze and you do want a bit more than just swaying and wiggling your fingers, is you could do some gentle yoga poses, some gentle stretching. Some gentle, mindful movement. Put some nice music on, close your eyes, light some candles, burn some incense, whatever that is, dim the lights, and just start gently moving your body however it feels like it wants to move, making sure that you're constantly just keeping the focus internally, constantly keeping the focus on the body, and keeping the breath like long and slow. So slow and long inhale and exhale. And that will gently, again, just help the body start to thaw out from that freeze state. And you can incorporate it into a little bit of a practice. Like if you wanted to start doing some gentle, mindful movement, incorporated with maybe some like soft and gentle touch and self-talk. So you could do your movement. Maybe you could sit there then cross-legged for a couple of minutes, place your hands on your chest and just say like, I'm safe, I'm okay, I'm here, I'm in my body, I'm grounded, I'm safe to come out of freeze. Like just that really gentle affirmation for your mind and for your body. I know it sounds woo-woo. I know it sounds a little bit like, what are you talking about? But it does work. I've seen it work. I've seen it work with so many clients. So what I would say is, if you're in freeze, please just try it, because what do you have to lose? This gentle approach to things is not going to make anything worse for you. And lastly, allowing yourself to feel the pain and the feelings and the emotions in the body that you've probably avoided for a very long time. Because when we don't address them, they do keep the body stuck in a state of overwhelm. And when we're stuck in fight or flight or freeze, we really want to avoid pain. That's only natural. But the only way out is through. Okay, so what that means is the only way to stop feeling painful emotions and heavy emotions and feelings and sensations in the body is actually to feel it. And it sounds counterintuitive. It sounds like, why would I feel these horrible things to stop feeling them? But it's actually what works. And when I started this healing work, I did a lot of reading on Eckhart Tolle's books. And a lot of his books mention the pain body, and what he calls the pain body is those really uncomfortable and difficult sensations and emotions and feelings that we have in the body. But he talks about that we have to address the pain body. We have to give it the attention that it needs to then allow it to disappear, to then allow it to dissolve. And me, myself, noticed that when I started giving attention and allowing myself the space to really recognize where I was holding this pain in my body, it disappeared. It got lighter. All of a sudden, I no longer felt controlled by this rage or anger because I was actually giving it the attention that it needs. So step one to helping you really feel into that pain body is get curious. Get curious and ask yourself, what am I feeling? The majority of the time, we never ever stop and pause to actually ask ourselves, what am I feeling and where am I feeling it? Is it heavy? Is it sharp? Is it tingling? Can you recognize where it is and what it is, and maybe give it a color? So I used to give my anger a color red. I used to really be able to see it in my chest. And when I got really curious and started recognizing what I was feeling and where I was feeling it and what it looked like in theory, I then started using my breath to breathe into it. So what I would do is I close my eyes and I'd slowly just breathe into that area where I had the color. And I would just slowly imagine seeing it just fizzling out, just fizzling away, getting less intense in color. And it's not about pushing it away. It's about allowing yourself to just spend time with it. The third thing is ask it what it needs. I know this sounds a bit crazy and a bit ridiculous, but ask your pain. What are you trying to protect me from? What do you need from me? If you could speak, what would you say? What are you trying to tell me? Again, I know it sounds woo-woo, but it works. You have to acknowledge, you have to bring attention, you have to give it the attention and the love that it needs for it then to disappear. Like your inner child, you have to give that the attention and the love that it needs for it to stop controlling your life. And lastly, if emotion comes up, let it, okay? Let it. I know so many people who do this exercise really well, and then all of a sudden they get really overwhelmed at the end because they feel like they want to cry, they feel like they want to shout, they feel like they want to scream, they feel like they want to punch the pillow. Whatever it is, the emotion that's coming up, they feel really confused and guilty. Let that come up for you. If you are feeling like you need to cry, just cry. If you're feeling like you want to scream into your pillow and punch your pillow, do it. That is the emotion finally releasing. That's the emotion finally working through and doing what it needs to do. That is the aim of the game. You might not believe it, but your body and your mind are a lot wiser than you believe they are. And they're not asking to be fixed. They're asking to be felt. They're asking to be seen. They're asking to be reconnected with. And doing everything that we've discussed today in that video is going to, or in this video, is going to allow you to do just that. So if this video resonated with you today, please remember this. The more we listen to our body, the more we feel our pain instead of trying to avoid it, the more we heal. Try some of the practices and please let me know how you go in the comments, or let me know if you've tried these before and if they've worked for you or not. And remember, the practices take time, they take consistency, and they do take being integrated into your daily life for you to start to see results. If you would like more support from me, please check out my mini course, Unlock Your Voice, in the link below. And if you haven't already, please hit subscribe to stay with me on this journey for healing as children of alcoholics.